back again for another Breach and Beyond. We're diving deep into the world where tech and crime collide. It's not just about the code, it's about the people behind it, their tactics, their motives, and the real-world damage they cause. Today we're unpacking a new threat, and it's a nasty one. An Android banking Trojan they're calling Crocodilus.
What really grabs you about Crocodilus is just how advanced it is right out of the gate. We see a lot of mobile threats, but this isn't just some minor tweak. It's a whole package designed to take over your device and drain your accounts.
That's right. Our main source here is Threat Fabric, the security researchers who discovered this thing back in late March 2025. They're saying it's already out there actively targeting users, especially in Spain and Turkey. And the fact that it's also going after crypto wallets tells you they're all about the money.
And this is where the criminology comes in. You see this pattern time and time again. Successful banking Trojans like Anatsa, Octo, or Hook. They create this demand. This underground market for these tools just keeps growing and evolving. Crocodilus seems like a direct response to that demand, like the next logical step for these criminals.
So let's break down how this Crocodilus operates. How does it actually worm its way onto someone's phone and start causing trouble?
Well, it looks like the initial infection comes through something called a dropper. Threat Fabric's analysis shows that this dropper can actually get around some of the security features in Android 13 and up. It's a reminder that even the latest phone updates aren't always foolproof. These attackers are constantly finding new ways in.
So it's already bypassing the newest defenses. That's kind of scary how quickly they're adapting. Once it's on your device, then what happens? What's Crocodilus's next move?
Well, the key to its whole operation is getting access to Android's accessibility services. Now, for those who aren't familiar with accessibility services, they're basically features that help users who might have trouble interacting with their devices,
Right.
like screen readers for visually impaired people or voice control. The problem is when malware like Crocodilus tricks you into giving it access to these services. It's like handing them a master key to your entire phone.
A master key. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Scary, too. So what can Crocodilus actually do with these permissions?
Once it's got those permissions, it sets up a connection to its command and control server. We call it a C2 server. Think of it like a spy getting orders from headquarters. This server and Threat Fabric actually found the domain it was using, register-buzzy.store, sends commands to the infected device. It tells the malware what apps to target and what fake login screens to use. Those are what we call overlays.
Right, the classic overlay attack. You go to open your banking app, but instead of the real login screen, you get this fake one designed to steal your password.
Exactly. And Crocodilus doesn't stop there. It's constantly watching what apps you're using. As soon as it sees you open a banking app or a crypto wallet app, bam, that overlay pops up. But it's also got some even sneakier, even more concerning tricks up its sleeve.
More concerning. Okay, now you've got me really interested.
So besides those overlays, it uses something called accessibility logging. Now, at first glance, it looks like a keylogger, recording your keystrokes, but it goes way beyond that. It can actually capture pretty much anything that's displayed on your screen, even text that changes dynamically. So it's not just what you're typing, it's anything you see on your phone that Crocodilus can grab.
That's wild. It's like next level keylogging then. So it can even get info you didn't actually type in yourself.
Precisely. And this is what makes its attack on two-factor authentication so effective. Threat Fabric actually found this specific command in Crocodilus's code, a RAT command. It's TGHE2XAZADG. What this command does is it triggers a screen capture whenever you're using the Google Authenticator app. You know, the one that generates those one-time password codes, those OTPs, for extra security. But since Crocodilus has access through accessibility logging, it can just snag that OTP right off your screen. It completely undermines the whole point of using two-factor authentication.
Wow. So even with that extra security of those OTP codes, Crocodilus can still bypass it just by snapping a picture of the code. That's a serious vulnerability.
Absolutely. It just shows how these cyber criminals are always one step ahead. They're constantly coming up with ways to get around our defenses. Just having those security features turned on isn't enough anymore. We need to be aware of the threats that can bypass them.
And when it comes to crypto wallets, things get even worse, right? It's not just about stealing logins anymore.
No, not at all. For crypto wallets, they use this really clever bit of social engineering combined with its accessibility logging ability. So imagine this. You put in your password or PIN for your crypto app, and then this overlay pops up. It tells you urgently that you need to back up your wallet key within 12 hours, otherwise you'll lose all your crypto. That key, by the way, is also known as the seed phrase.
The seed phrase, yeah, that's like the master key to your crypto wallet, isn't it? Like if you lose that, you lose everything.
Exactly. It's a string of words that if someone gets hold of, They have complete control over all the crypto in that wallet. No way to get it back. And the overlay, it subtly guides you to go to the place in the app where your seed phrase is stored. And since Crocodilus has those accessibility service permissions, it just snatches that phrase right off the screen using its logging. It's a recipe for disaster.
That's so devious. They play on your fear of losing your money and trick you into giving them the keys to the kingdom. It's a real psychological game.
It really is.
Yeah.
It shows that cybercrime isn't always about hacking computers. It's about hacking people, too, exploiting their trust and their fears.
Now, Threat Fabric also mentions remote access capabilities. How does Crocodilus actually get full control of the device?
Crocodilus uses these built-in Android features to get complete remote control. Basically, it lets the attackers operate your phone as if it were in their hands. They can open apps, make transactions, do pretty much anything you can do.
And they can do all this without the owner even knowing.
That's where the hidden remote access comes in. Crocodilus can actually display a black screen on top of everything else that's happening on the phone. So you might think your phone just went to sleep or crashed, but in reality, the attackers are in there, poking around and doing whatever they want. And to make it even more stealthy, it can mute all the sounds, too.
So you're looking at a blank screen, no sound, and you just think your phone's acting up. You'd have no idea what's really going on. That's pretty disturbing.
It is. And they're not even trying to hide it in the code. The researchers found specific RA commands for all of this. TR9 S0XZ to activate the black screen, and commands like cull nodes to control the sound settings. Clearly, they designed it to be as undetectable as possible.
Now let's talk about who might be behind this. The report hints at a possible link to a known threat actor. It's like a detective story, trying to figure out who the culprit is.
Yeah, so in the early Crocodilus samples, they found this tag SIP update. And this same tag has popped up before with another group, a threat actor called Cibra. These guys are linked to other malware families like Metadroid, Hook, and Octo.
It's potentially the same group, or at least someone who's worked with them before.
It's a strong possibility, but the researchers are careful not to jump to conclusions. It could be that Cibra is just a customer of the people who made Crocodilus. Like they're testing out this new tool. You know, the malware market is a complicated place. You've got developers, distributors, and operators all playing different roles.
Makes sense, like a whole criminal ecosystem. They also mentioned something about the developers maybe being Turkish speakers. How did they figure that out?
Well, they were looking at the code for Crocodilus, and they found these debug messages written in Turkish, which, strongly suggests that the people who wrote it speak Turkish. It's not a smoking gun, but these kinds of linguistic clues can be really helpful in tracking down the origins of these threats.
So let's sum up what we know. We've got this extremely advanced malware, possibly connected to known cyber criminals, likely developed by Turkish speakers, already targeting banks and crypto users. What does all of this mean for the big picture of cybersecurity?
I think Crocodilus is a wake-up call. It shows us how fast the mobile threat landscape is evolving. This isn't just some minor upgrade. It's a fully fledged threat from day one. And the fact that it's going after high-value targets like banks and crypto tells you they're in it for the money. It's a serious business.
And it seems like those old-school security measures, the reactive ones, just aren't enough anymore.
You're absolutely right. Basic signature-based detection, where you scan for known malware occurred, that's just not cutting it against these new threats, especially when they're brand new, like Crocodilus. We need more sophisticated defenses, a multi-layered approach, both for financial institutions and for everyday users.
The report actually gives specific recommendations for banks and financial institutions. What kind of proactive strategies are we talking about?
It all comes down to defense in depth. You can't just look at the app itself. You need to constantly be analyzing the behavior of the device and the user. Things like device fingerprinting, which can recognize a known and trusted device, or behavioral biometrics, which can spot unusual activity based on how the user normally interacts with their phone. And risk analysis is crucial too, looking at the context of a transaction to see if anything's out of place.
Now, the Threat Fabric report also includes this huge list of bot and RAT commands that Crocodilus uses. And some of them sound really invasive. Could you maybe walk us through a couple of the more alarming ones?
Sure. So in the bot commands, one that really stands out is TR0390Q1QXZXS. This one gives the malware the ability to enable call forwarding. Imagine what that could mean. They could intercept your text messages, including those with two-factor authentication codes, or they could use your phone line for other scams. Another one to watch out for is Spinderspike. This one can make Crocodilus the default SMS manager on your phone. So they basically have full control over your text messages. They can send them, read them, delete them. Again, probably looking for those OTP codes or trying to cover their tracks.
Yikes. It's like they have complete control over how you communicate. What about the RAT commands? How do those let them manipulate your device directly?
The RAT commands are even more direct and intrusive. There's one called Infinity Ghetto and Infinity Get Stop. These let them start and stop streaming video from your front camera. That's a huge privacy violation. They can basically see whatever your phone sees. And then there's TR2XAQ SDGEEEFRGT, which turns on and off that hidden remote access we were talking about. So they can do whatever they want without you ever knowing. And lastly, TRXSB123QEGSDF lets them perform these complex gestures on your screen remotely. They can navigate through apps, tap buttons, basically use your phone as if it were in their hands.
That's amazing and terrifying. It's like a ghost is using your phone. Now, for our listeners who are more tech savvy, the report also gives some specific technical identifiers for Crocodilus.
That's right. For those who want to dig deeper, they mentioned that Crocodilus often disguises itself as a Chrome app using the package name quizzical.washbowl.calamity. And they give the SA256 hash of one of the samples, which is C53Day3SDFD1KS05482238BACCCOEO275B8CDCs C74208171F. These details can be really helpful for security researchers and anyone tracking this malware.
So to wrap it all up, Crocodilus is this brand new Android banking Trojan that can take over your device in some pretty scary ways. It's mainly targeting banks and crypto users, mostly in Spain and Turkey for now, but it could easily spread further. It's got all these advanced techniques like accessibility logging to steal passwords and even get around two-factor authentication. It uses social engineering to trick people into giving up their crypto seed phrases, and it can take full control of your phone, often without you even knowing. And on top of all that, it might be connected to known cybercriminals and developed by Turkish speakers.
Yeah, that's a great summary. I think it really drives home the point that cybersecurity is a constant arms race. These criminals are always coming up with new ways to target us and our money. We can't afford to be complacent.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? With malware like Crocodilus out there, how can we trust anything in this increasingly digital world? What new defenses do we need to develop? How do we stay safe? It's a problem we all need to be thinking about.